tell yourself the truth. Are you millennialing this shit? Are you showing up and saying, ugh, it's hard. It's not working. I want it faster. And like going to your mom? Seriously, instead of approaching your business like a Nobel effing winning chemist, all in on the daily, not making your yesterday mean anything, whether you had a win or a fail or an aha moment or a rest day or you didn't even show up at all. Who cares, baby? One day does not a rock star make, and does not a failure make either.
Welcome to Sincerely Future You, a podcast that helps ambitious women like you make decisions today with the future you in mind.
Are you feeling like you're showing up and you're still not getting the results that you want? This is so frustrating, right? Like, you know you're doing things. You're not procrastinating or phoning it in. You're doing things. And still, like, where are the results? This episode is for you if that's how you're feeling, because we're going to zoom out and take a real look at which angles you have yet to pursue. We're going to show you that your dreams aren't actually that far away and that there's nothing wrong with you. You may have simply underestimated the variety of approaches it would take to find your stride this month or this quarter or this year. And if you've yet to find it at all in your business, never fear, that's why you're here. We're in good hands. But before we get to the episode, we got to do the shout out of the week. This week's shout out goes to Jacqueline, and she is actually in the Rewire Your Time Bootcamp. Do you know about this, you guys? We are deep into, well, when you're listening to this, we are on the last day of the 5-day bootcamp, and what a fun group we've got going. Everyone is in different phases of their lives, and really they decided by signing up to this, I have done similar style things for free in terms of a webinar, but I have a very complicated relationship with free because I know that the person on the other end doesn't value it because I have valued it at zero cost, right? And so because there is a small fee to be a part of this 5-day bootcamp, people are showing up and they're showing up big for themselves. And Jacqueline has shown up in a way that I think is really just exemplary. Even if you are someone who is worried about joining something like the Splash Pad or the Masterful CEO School because of your schedule, hey, that is half of what I show up to. Jacqueline couldn't make the first call. It was a conflict for her. And there's only 3 calls in this boot camp. But I said, hey, there's going to be replays. And she decided to come and get what she came for anyway. She watched the replay as soon as she could, and she posted immediately in the group letting us know what's up. And she said, I'm so excited to get my schedule and kids' schedule more organized day to day. She's got a bunch of kids, you guys, mom of 4, and become more accountable to my personal business and life, because that's the part that she's left to the wayside. She said, I am working on my categories, yet even writing all of this down tonight felt great. I will be filling it in for the following day before my workday is over, part of our process that we're doing in the scheduling of the rewiring of their time. And she said, and it's going to feel so good leading into my family time, dinner, sports, etc., to know that the next day is taken care of. Sharing it here is the accountability I crave, excited to cheer you all on as well. I love the vibes, and I love someone who really uses language where they are putting themselves in the driver's seat. So be careful, you guys. If you maybe are in some of the same circumstances as Jackie, maybe you did just have a baby, or maybe you have a full-time job and a personal business like she does as well, and you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, remember that overwhelm is not coming from the number of things on your plate, but rather the number of unmanaged thoughts in your brain. It takes one sentence for you to align yourself to the story that's going to help you put one foot in front of the other. Find that sentence, my friend. Find it. And it might just be something as simple as, this is exactly what I crave. And find one thing, find one lifeline, hold on for dear life until your circumstances can get a little bit more breathing room. All right. You've got this. Shout out Jackie. Way to go. Hype sesh. You guys ready to get hyped? So have you guys read Lessons in Chemistry? It was Barnes & Noble's book of the year in 2022. So you know it's a crowd pleaser. And also for my TV peeps, those of you who just need things that you can multitask during. I know for me, I'm in a book club, but I still Audible all the way, right? So for my TV peeps, it just came out as a new series on Apple TV with Brie Larson. Anyway, aside from the fact that it's a badass story of a woman literally paving the way for other women in her field, which is chemistry, to me, it's just another reminder of how much tedious effing work is required to do something extraordinary. How much discipline is required, how much failure you need to collect, how many experiments you need to be willing to try, and how unentitled to the exact desired success you need to be today while believing in the inevitability of you winning in this life. Like this girl just gets knocked down one thing after the next thing. It's like every other scene, there is some sort of undesired circumstance that makes the audience go like cringe. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Makes for great TV, right? Makes for a great story with that like dramatic obstacles, but sometimes our life feels like that, right? And we think, oh my gosh, if only the circumstances were plain Jane. But no, we're not in Pleasantville, you guys. This is not the story that you actually want. We convince ourselves that we want things to just be easier. But when things are easy, the reward doesn't feel like a reward. It just feels like part of that same story, right? Because there's no rising action. There's no obstacle to get there. There's no pursuit. There's no evolution. And then we feel out of purpose. We don't feel like we're doing anything meaningful because in order to feel deep meaning, deep purpose, there needs to be something that you're going through, some hurdles that you have to get to the other side of. And it's going to require a lot of negative and uncomfortable emotion. Specifically today, right? We're talking about tedium. We're talking about discipline. We're talking about experiments over and over and over again. Tell yourself the truth. Are you millennialing this shit? Are you showing up and saying, ugh, it's hard. It's not working. I want it faster. And like going to your mom? Seriously, instead of approaching your business like a Nobel effing winning chemist, all in on the daily, not making your yesterday mean anything, whether you had a win or a fail or an aha moment or a rest day or you didn't even show up at all. Who cares, baby? One day does not a rock star make and does not a failure make either. 1 year doesn't. Be willing to put in the reps. Be committed to the experiment. Look at your mountain of labeled test tubes, not like a robot going through the motions, like, okay, next test tube, but with a sense of awe. What can you learn? What have you learned? What goal is on the horizon this month, this year, this decade? You have got this. Dive into the tedium. Be in awe of it. High quality question for you, darling CEOs, as we transition into the topic of the day. If there is, or if there was, a Nobel Award in your field, would you pursue it? What revolutionary work are you committed to? What would that look like for you? What is the mission? LFG. I'm like abbreviating all of my cursing today. I don't know why. I'm feeling like the need. Maybe some of you guys have kids listening in the background. Can't always promise I'm going to do that, but LFG. Okay. We're hype. Let's do this. Last week, I was in rest and recovery fully. I appreciate anyone who sat through my voice being under the weather. I'm still recovering, as I'm sure you guys can hear, but I'm definitely on the upswing. I was healing my body. I caught the bug from my offspring. My husband and partner in all things was in Boston, and I gave myself room to fully feel my feelings around some personal things also going on in my life. And I gave myself a little bit of breathing room from the routines of my business, the standard that I hold myself to, and I just went back to vital behaviors. Again, I've done a full episode on this called Vital Behaviors. Check out that episode. It's definitely for you if you are feeling like, okay, I need a bit of a break, but you don't know what that could look like when you have a business. Vital behaviors is the answer. But I want to remind you, since this is a time episode, specifically talking about being productive and attacking our goals, part of that process, it must include resting and feeling and healing and all of the counter actions to our actions, right? The left brain is that part of our brain that's like, go, let's go, let's feel, let's do, let's be, right? And then the right brain is that part that has the inhibitions that allows us to see the bigger picture, to zoom out, to put it all into context, to have empathy for our situation, for the world, for our clients, for ourselves. Okay? I think of last week as an inhale and this week as an exhale. Both parts are required to live. Imagine you just tried to exhale. You'd pass the hell out, right? So know yourself. Know if you're in a moment, a day, a week, or a season of inhaling or exhaling, and find your natural breath. Today, we're talking about the exhale though, okay? So tune in if you are ready and you're with me there. And if you're not, go to the Vital Behaviors episode. Search that, all right? If you're listening to this episode in real time, we have 6 days left in the month, and we're going to check in with our goals. What will it take to capture the flag of that goal? Is the plan working? And how do we know if it needs some tweaking? Today, I specifically want to talk about something that I talk to my clients about all the time, which is attacking your goals by air, land, and sea. Making sure that you are approaching everything from all of the angles. We're going to use the example of marketing, your marketing time. Why? Because in all of my coaching containers and in chats with women at business networking events recently, I'm seeing a theme emerge. And I was like, I got a podcast about this, got to give it to the people. This idea that if we show up consistently, we're going to have a successful business. But then I keep hearing from some people too, like, I don't know, I'm showing up. I guess I just got to keep showing up, right? And I'm not making the money that I want to make. To me, that's a red flag. I would never tell my clients, oh, you're showing up, you're doing all the things, and you're not making money. Okay, just keep showing up. Terrible. That would be terrible coaching advice, right? Like, of course, yes, sometimes if you've just started to employ a new strategy or you're in the beginning of your business and you're doing things, there is like a lag time on some sales processes, of course. And sometimes there really just are seasons. There's like a month or a quarter where you're trying to like workshop some things and you're going to get better and you have to have patience for sure. But my next logical question is, what does showing up consistently mean to you? And the answer I usually hear is posting on social media, right? For you, it might be recording my podcast or sending emails. But either way, likely, I feel like from my experience of working with entrepreneurs at all levels, even at the masterful level, at $1 million levels, right? The plan can sometimes go on autopilot and not be very robust. If you want big results, you need to think big. You need to approach from all angles, or what I call air, land, and sea. This applies to everything. I'm currently on a mission to help my son thrive in school. And I might get a little emotional here. It's been the source of a lot of inhaling over here at my house. Currently, he's not thriving in school. And I'm just being real. I'm about to have a brain doctor on as a guest in the upcoming weeks, so I won't go too much into it. It's very fascinating stuff that we're doing over here. But suffice it to say, my son, who has always been my wild child, is struggling to stay focused and keep calm in a 24-kid classroom. And that's a mild way of putting it. But if my goal is to, let's say, one sentence goal, help Calvin thrive in school, I'm not going to just try one thing. Instead of being overwhelmed by the problem, you can overwhelm the problem. And that's what this episode is about. We've created a comprehensive plan. We're reducing screen time. It was already pretty low, but when I say reducing, I mean like we're getting rid of TV at all. And diagnosis on the school end to support him with the behavior plan and school tools. I'm researching kids like him and different approaches and options. We're altering his nutrition, speaking to a nutritionist. We're enrolling him in this place called Brain Balance. I'm going to have a guest on here that is going to educate you guys on it because I think it's really important for adults to also be aware of their brain balancing and how this can affect you if you're an adult trying to run a business or an adult trying to process through ADHD or OCD or dyslexia, right? We're doing a 3-month intensive at-home program, temporarily reducing the number of extracurriculars he's got going on. We're getting on the same page with Calvin's dad and our spouses. We're pumping him up with positivity, getting him outside a minimum of 3 hours a day. I'm tabling other goals in my life, finding healthier rewards for him, joining parent support groups, sharing my journey with my people. This is what it looks like to create a foolproof plan. Opening your mind up to things that seem basic or silly, methodically trying new things, scheduling time, not just to do, but to learn, to practice, to evaluate, to feel. So let's go back to your marketing plan as the example. What is your goal for the business this month? Not in actions, but in results, right? So I'm not talking about a goal like you want to finish your website or anything like that. Like your revenue generating goal. Is it 10 clients? Is it 1 client? Is it 100 sales? Is it a revenue number? Whatever it is. Take a piece of paper or a whiteboard, ideally, that would be great, and put this goal in the middle and circle it, right? 10 clients this month. Now, you're going to start by drawing lines out from the middle. I know this is called like a type of graph. I forget what it's called. Put all of your past strategies down. All of the things that you tried up until now to market your services. This is going to be your land strategy, right? It's the groundwork. It's the obvious moves you make. Posting to Instagram, creating on TikTok, sending emails, whatever it is that you're already doing, right? If you're like most of the clients that I meet, you are trying to conquer your goal by land from one or maybe even a few angles. But posting to social media, maybe that's been your whole marketing strategy. And listen, this episode isn't about shaming you for showing up on social media. Pat yourself on the back. Social media is not a bad strategy. It's a limitless tool and you should keep doing it. But also, we're going to get tough lovey with you here. Ask yourself, is it actually working? Is it getting you the results that you're after? Maybe it is, in which case apply the strategy to something other than marketing. I think of all land strategies as looking at what's in plain sight. You're taking inventory of your strategies, of your budget, of your schedule. You're doing the math of tracking where you're at in relation to your goals. There is plenty of work to do in just what's in plain sight. Maybe the land strategy for marketing, though, was working, but now it's not. And it's simply time to reevaluate. All good, baby. This is a game, remember? We want this to feel fun. And so if you're just doing the same things over and over again, your brain's going to start to be like, okay, right? If it's working, stick with it. Find ways to keep your brain engaged, but you could stick with it. But if it's not, there are more resources at your disposal. Let's approach by air. So this is where you're going to zoom out. Look at your industry. See where things are going. What do people care about? Can you get ahead of it? From the air, you can see what's ahead and what's behind you too. What's coming up? What season or holiday or event can you partner with in your marketing? What have you seen a mentor do that's worked really well that you've always been curious about? Try it. What strategies did you used to do that for some reason maybe you stopped doing because you felt like you didn't need to anymore? You'd gotten more advanced, or maybe you just literally just stop doing it. And it's like, okay, maybe I want to re-employ that strategy. Ask future you, what channels did she use to get where she's at, right? Like I always say, make sure when you're talking to your future self, you decide which future version you're talking about. Are you talking to future you at the end of 2023, at the end of 2024, in 5 years from now? Like picture her. What does she look like? What is she feeling? And ask her, what channels did she use to get where she's at? What did she have to stop doing? You would be surprised how many ideas come up when you begin to ask yourself these high quality questions. And now we're going to approach by C. This is the sneak attack. This is the experimental approach. This is the, who knows if this is going to work, but I'm going to give it 90 days. For marketing, this might look like putting up a damn billboard, a radio ad, handing out flyers, going to a new type of networking event, flying across the country to go to an event, asking another business friend if they can market your service or product to their audience on their email list or in their event or on their website. If you could do a swap on go on a podcast tour, start a text list, right? These are all just ideas that maybe you haven't thought of yet. And we're just going to sit down and think of all of them, right? Draw those lines out from your goal on that whiteboard, circle them. You should begin to see a map that looks like it is engulfing the goal. Remember I said, instead of being overwhelmed by the goal, you get to overwhelm the goal. Okay? And the C strategy is where you close the gap. It's where you can course correct to account for being far off with your expectations. The slightest tweak to a submarine's course, just 1 degree, will change your destination by a continent. If you're applying this to your general goals and not just to your marketing strategy, this might look like being 10% more efficient, 10% more brave, waking up 10 minutes earlier, doing 10 minutes of directly connecting with new people, cutting back your TV consumption by an hour less each day, following up with 5 people instead of 3 people, setting a new policy, negotiating with your vendors, your team, your clients, asking better questions, changing the shape of your problem just enough to see the solution. Drop an unuseful belief. Stop saying, I don't know. Look inside yourself instead of at me. Okay? Air, land, and sea. This is your opportunity to remember that you have an entire fleet of ideas in your brain. You have an entire fleet of resources at your disposal. And this is not me giving you a permission slip to go and just spend money that you completely shouldn't be spending. Yes, you should be investing in your business. Yes, you should be reinvesting into your business for sure at all levels. However, if you are at the beginner level, you do not need to be paying all of the people. That's not what I'm saying. There are so many free marketing strategies available to you. But if you are getting to a more advanced level, if you've been at it for a little bit, like it's time to start reinvesting some of that. It's time to start getting uncomfortable because that's when you get to the new level. Remember, discomfort is the currency to your dreams. You guys, whether you are new to the podcast or not, I have an exciting opportunity for you. So I am constantly looking for ways to figure out what you're needing right now and infuse it into my offers. I'm not someone that is always popping up with new offers. I like to take my offers and just continue to tweak them to make them better and better and better so that every round, so that every month, the offer is more comprehensive and it just really has a finger on the pulse of what you guys are asking for. So my very exciting announcement is for you that the Splash Pad, my offer for women business owners who are looking to either turn their idea or their hobby or that jobby business that feels like a job, but yet isn't paying the bills in the way they want them to and make consistent income without sacrificing their life, the Splash Pad community. It was originally designed to be a course that was lifetime community, right? It was not a coaching program. But you know what I found out? Hey, coaching is my expertise, and I think that coaching is what you need at all levels. So as a bonus, I have decided to make the Splash Pad a coaching program as well. The price is not even changing. You guys, for $999, you can get lifetime coaching access. Now, I cannot promise you that this price will not go up eventually, but I just believe that access to these thoughts, access to these concepts, access to Business 101, it should really be at a affordable price. And I think that what my clients are getting inside this container within this community is exactly what they need to get to the place where they are ready to pursue their masterful CEO selves. So if this is you, if you've been listening to the show for a while and you are at this place in your business, or you have just found me and you're like, hey, wait, I'm not sure this might be for me, come check it out. You can go to sincerelyfutureyou.com and you will see all the information for you to join and get started with the Splash Pad today. As we wrap up this episode of Sincerely Future You, I hope you've gained valuable insights into conquering your goals, just like conquering your marketing time. Remember, time is your most precious resource, and how you spend it literally shapes your future. Use the strategies you've learned here today to make the most of your journey towards your goals. And if you enjoyed this episode and you found it helpful, please share it with your contact list and your fellow goal chasers. Subscribe to my podcast for more episodes like this. We're a whole community of badass women, and I am here to support you. The future is yours to mold, and with each minute you invest wisely, you're just one step closer to becoming the successful, goal-conquering version of yourself. Keep aligning with that future you, my loves. And don't forget to connect with me on Instagram. My handle is Jess McKinley Wayno. That's at JessMckinleyUyeno. Until next time, amigas.